The Caroler Under the Eaves, the town and the first note. I grew up in a town where Christmas lights stayed up until March. Old men forgot their ladders. Teenagers pretended not to notice. The streets were narrow. The porches leaned. When it snowed, you could hear your own footsteps echo off the old clapboard houses. It sounded like you'd woken something sleeping beneath the paint. People used to say our winters were storybook. But the story they never told was about the Caroler Under the Eaves. The first time I heard him, I was 8. It was late. Later than any 8-year-old should be awake. My mother had fallen asleep on the couch with a bowl of popcorn balanced on her stomach. The TV hummed with a Hallmark movie. One of those soft-focus blizzards that never stopped falling. Outside, the real snow whispered against the windows. Then, under all that soft noise, a single note drew itself out like a string pulled tight. It was human, clear, round, a sound that seemed to start in my chest instead of in my ears. The window and the voice. I sat up slowly. It felt like if I moved too fast, I'd break something fragile. The voice hovered near the edge of our roof. A carol, I thought, because what else could it be on Christmas Eve? But it wasn't any carol I knew, no words, just a melody I could almost sing with if I dared. I crept to the window. The street outside was empty. No footprints, no neighbors, just snow and silence. The note continued, gliding between pitches with the patience of a violin bow. I cracked the window an inch. The cold air stabbed my cheeks. The voice swelled. It felt like it'd been waiting for a door to open. "Hello," I whispered. The song climbed just a little, like it had heard me and didn't want to startle a child. I don't know how long I knelt there. The note wound down my spine with the rhythm of the movie's soft flurries, the smell of popcorn, my mother's slow breathing. I fell asleep on the cold sill, forehead pressed to the glass. In the morning, there were wet marks on the outside of the window, as if something had leaned its mouth there and sang into the scene. My mom laughed and said it was condensation. I didn't argue. Children know when not to say certain things out loud. Growing up in the return of the song. Every Christmas Eve after that, I listened, always late, always that same unbroken line of music hovering under the eaves like a draft that never made me cold. I got taller. My mother got lonelier, and the song, it knew me. It dipped when I dipped. It rose when I guessed where it would go. By high school, I kept it secret. People would have called it a boyhood fancy. The year my mother got sick, we missed Christmas. Radiation slept when it wanted and woke when it wanted. But that year, the song returned. I sat at the kitchen table, pretending to write a college essay. The note bent around the window frame and found me. I didn't open the window. I leaned my forehead against the wall and let the sound touch the places I refused to. It was comforting. And it was wrong. When my mother died, it was spring. No snow to carry sound. The house turned hot, then empty. The return home, I didn't come back for Christmas for 3 years. The 4th year I did. I cracked a beer I didn't want, scrolled through photos of people I barely remembered, and waited for nothing. Then the note came. It was like the first breath after a scream. I froze. The beer hissed in my hand. The voice was older, or maybe I was. It carried a heavy sound, like a bell rung inside a tree trunk. I walked to the window, opened it wide. Snow tumbled in. The voice swelled, and for the first time in 20 years, I saw more than glass. A face, not whole, not clear, just the impression of a cheek and a lip. It looked like the air had learned where to be thicker to make the shapes a voice would make if it had a mouth. "Who are you?" I asked. The note tilted, almost amused. "What do you want?" The sound didn't answer. It only waited. I started to sing. "Oh come, Emmanuel," the voice followed. It slipped beneath my note, like a body sliding under a blanket. We breathed together. No lungs, no words, just sound. At Rejoice, it pressed into my mouth. Our notes aligned so perfectly the glass began to hum. The kitchen light flickered. The old popcorn bowl rattled in its cabinet. We were one voice. Aftermath in the soot marks. I stumbled back. The connection snapped like a burning string. The note wavered, almost sorry, then retreated under the eaves. I slammed the window shut. I didn't sleep that night. When dawn came, I went outside. No footprints, none at all. But along the underside of the roof, I found thin, dark marks, like fingertips trailing in soot. I went into town and found Mr. Blix at the Historical Society. I asked if anyone had ever heard things. He rubbed his jaw. "You have to be more specific," he said. When I told him, he showed me a small cabinet. It smelled like dust and mouse droppings. Inside was a wax cylinder. On the label, December Hymn 1904, we found an old phonograph to play it. Scratch became noise, noise became tone. And then there it was, my note, the same glide, the same hand drawing the same curve a century ago. Behind it faintly, a child's voice joined for one bar. Then it vanished, like someone had put a hand over a mouth. The seventh night, I didn't open the window that night, or the next, but I felt the note at the edges of the house. It pressed like the air before a storm. It wanted to sing through me, with me. That's what I told myself. The soft version, the hard version came on the seventh night. The voice rose and fell with my sleeping breath, even though the window was shut tight. I woke up with frost on the inside of the glass. My lips were cold, and there was a taste of iron on my tongue, and the leaving and the message. On New Year's Eve, I packed a bag, turned off the heat, took the trash to the curb, then stood in the kitchen one last time. I thought of opening the window, just once more, a proper duet, closure. Instead, I taped the wax cylinder to the glass. Maybe I wanted to give the voice something of itself to hold. Maybe I wanted it to remember that record's end. I left at dusk, took 3 steps off the porch. Then the song climbed behind me and stopped. Silence, too sudden, too sharp, I turned. The window was fogged from the inside. A circle had cleared, and in the middle, a faint shape. The suggestion of a mouth. No sound came out, but I could see the shape of 2 words. Come back, the ending and the echo. I moved away the next year. I'll never sell the house. Every December, my neighbor sends photos of the window. They're always the same, frost. A circle cleared by breath, and a single word written in condensation. Sing. I don't return for Christmas anymore. But on Christmas Eve, wherever I live, I hold my breath, and I listen. I don't hear the voice with my ears anymore. I hear it under my ribs, a melody waiting for my mouth to open, my jaw to unhinge, my voice to let it in. One day when the snow is right and the house is quiet enough, I will. And when I do, I'll know exactly where the harmony will fall and how long it'll take before I can't tell where my voice ends and the other begins. Because some carols are written for 2, even when one of the singers is older than winter.